I'm Dan Perky. Ever notice how everyone in business talks about metrics, but then they don't back that up with actions that match their words? It's generally true that what gets measured gets improved, but that falls apart at the big picture level. For example, every business measures revenue, but simply measuring it doesn't produce more revenue. Revenue is a metric, but is it a useful metric other than to determine whether you're growing or going out of business? Metrics have to be associated with actionable items that drive desired behavior, or else they're simply numbers put on a piece of paper, put there for the amusement of leadership. Proper metrics are tools to be used to make something happen. They're practical in nature, put there to address specific prioritized functions. They're the how that feed the big picture results, like revenue. Some have the misguided notion that the more metrics, the better. They believe that attaching a number to every little nit is what makes for good management. Well, I'm here to tell you that some are wrong. Still others believe that measuring things detracts from doing actual work. After all, how can you get anything done if you spend all your time measuring things? It's an administrative burden. Besides, metrics constrain free thinking and innovation. Well, I'm here to tell you that still others are wrong too. Metrics play a critical role in determining whether you're successful. The most obvious example is profit. You're in business to make money, whether that's a for-profit business or a non-profit business. The P&L tells you how successful you are. There are also other bigger picture metrics that are useful to understanding the health of the business that are actually needed by CEOs, presidents, business owners, and executives, like how many sales you made or how many installations you did in a month, and an abundance of financial metrics. But those are all trailing metrics. They tell you what happened, but not why or how it happened. It's the why and how that's important, because if you don't know how you became a success or why you're failing, then there's no way to improve. Those why and how metrics are leading metrics that tell you that if you do X well, then that action will directly result in more revenue. They play a critical role in the development and creation of that success. I call those types of metrics behavioral metrics. They're the meat and potatoes of business when used properly, yet many business leaders seem to focus only on the big picture metrics and forget about what got them there in the first place, the employees doing the work to get customers to buy the product. An example of a behavioral metric would be one that measures how often technicians get to their scheduled appointments on time. If techs know that they're being measured on this, then they'll be less likely to be inefficient in their work. That's a desired, prioritized behavior of the techs, since it leads directly to customer satisfaction, which encourages customers to buy more. That then drives the big picture revenue metric. The question is, how do you engage those employees to focus on their key job functions that make the customers buy? The answer is behavioral metrics. Now, there are 4 characteristics of a good behavioral metric. First, they need to be directly applicable to the behavior desired and used to coach that behavior. Second, they need to be largely in control of the person being measured. One of the reasons there's a big disconnect between management, particularly upper management, and the front line is that, for the most part, the front line doesn't really truly care about the company's revenue. It's too big and too far removed from their world. Revenue doesn't drive their behavior. Individually, they really can't influence revenue very much at all. They only care about their paycheck and getting their job done without the boss coming down on them. So it's important to create a metric that does make them care about what's relevant in their world. If they can control it, then they can master it. Third, a behavioral metric needs to be administratively simple. The fear of spending more time on measuring rather than working is a real one and has to be considered. So before introducing a metric, make sure the benefit you get out of it is truly useful and aligns with the business's prioritized goals. Fourth, it's used to uncover and correct process or efficiency issues that directly impact the company's ability to produce revenue. Just because you can measure something doesn't mean that you should. What is it that's causing processes to bog down or customers not to buy that are significant to the success of a company? Many, particularly those being measured, think that metrics are simply there to give the boss an excuse to come down on them at evaluation time. Essentially, they don't want to be held accountable. The other side of that coin is that behavioral metrics can uncover problems and, when used correctly, can be powerful coaching tools to improve performance. Improved performance leads to more revenue, so it's important to understand the drivers that constitute improved performance. That's what behavioral metrics do. They're the engine that drives the revenue machine. If you want some personal attention to determine those key drivers at your business, contact the Open Door Group via any of the ways that follow.